Good morning. So we had some big stuff happen yesterday. The Electoral College met to cast their votes. What we did have in 4 of the 5 swing states is we had some alternate electors. The only reason we couldn't get them, or I'm not sure if they were able to meet somewhere, but they tried to convene in Michigan, the GOP alternate electors, at the Capitol building in Michigan. Well, the governor of the state shut the Capitol building down and had the state troopers in there and wouldn't allow the GOP electors to convene and cast their alternate votes. Now, I think they can meet anywhere. They're just supposed to meet at the Capitol building. So I'm not sure right now if they met somewhere else and were able to cast their alternate votes. So basically what these alternate electors' votes mean is that when Pence is being the president of the Senate, he has to certify the electoral votes. So basically in between now and January 6th, when that's Pence's responsibility on that day to do that, if the Trump team can win some of these court cases they have, like in Wisconsin yesterday, we got a small victory in that some of these mail-in ballots were ruled unconstitutional, meaning we could get them thrown out if we could prove that some of these 200 some odd thousand mail-in ballots that were mailed out under the condition of the people being permanently incapacitated, meaning that they were using COVID as an excuse to mail out these ballots, that the people were permanently incapacitated, or in other words, couldn't go to vote in person because they were scared of COVID. Now, the Supreme Court of Wisconsin ruled that COVID is not a legitimate reason to claim that you're permanently incapacitated. So what the GOP is going to have to do up there is they're going to have to individually reach out to these people and get an answer from them. Yes or no, were you permanently incapacitated? Yes or no, did you cast this ballot? And I think what they're going to find is that a lot of these are going to be fraudulent ballots. They're going to find these people, say it's Joe Smith. Joe Smith is going to say, well, I didn't cast a ballot. I didn't even vote, or something like that. So it's a tall order to get. I'm not sure what the margin of victory or margin of defeat as we speak is in Wisconsin. I don't think it's quite 200,000. It's quite a bit less, I think. So if you can get to that number, you can basically prove that you won. You get these people that to say they didn't cast a ballot and somebody fraudulently cast one in their name, or no, COVID did not keep me or I used COVID as an excuse to not go vote. And the GOP can go, well, they can bring that back to the court and say that wasn't a valid excuse, so this person's vote shouldn't count. And that's what the Wisconsin Supreme Court opened up the door for the GOP to do in Wisconsin. So these alternate electors, if we can win cases like that between now and January 6th in these swing states, we've got court cases in all these states. If we can win similar cases to that in all these swing states, and then go back and present that information and say, okay, well, we've gotten all these ballots discredited, so these certified electoral votes from the Democrats shouldn't count, and we have this alternate slate of electors for you to choose. Here's the problem. A, there's a lot that needs to happen for that to play out the way I just described it. And B, you need to count on Pence to do that. And I think what we're going to have a problem with is, Pence has been okay for Trump. He's been a good sounding board for Trump, basically. Trump is there to tell Pence, you can do this, you can't do that, because Trump, I'm sure, just says, well, I want to do this, this, and this. So he's got a board of attorneys and politically experienced people like Mike Pence saying, well, you can't do that because of this and that. So Pence has been okay in that regard. But he's got some neocon ties, Pence does. If you look into a little bit of his history with the Bush family and stuff like that. So I don't think that's necessarily going to keep him from certifying this alternate slate of electors. However, I think that's going to take brass cojones to do that, and I don't know that Mike Pence is willing to jeopardize his political future based on that. So he's basically tying his political future to Trump, and I don't know if somebody like Mike Pence is willing to do that. I'm sure he has aspirations of maybe running for president in the future, or being going back to being the governor of Indiana, or what else he wants to do. But if he hitches his political future to Trump and goes against the certified electors, even if you can get to show that those were fraudulently certified, that's a really bold move. And he's gonna have to work with these politicians moving forward, even if Trump's not in the picture. Trump could just do whatever he wants. He's got his own thing going. Pence is a politician, so he's gonna have to deal with these people. So it'd be interesting to see what Pence will, we'll be able to see what he's made of here. And there's some alternate scenarios where he can basically not count the alternate electors or the certified electors and kick it to the House of Representatives. And in that scenario, each state gets a vote, and we win. We control 29 state legislatures, but we'd have to get every 29, or almost all of those, to vote in favor of Trump. So there's certainly some paths to victory here for Trump, but they all involve Mike Pence, and they all involve Mike Pence doing some very courageous things. So I don't think anybody can make a great assessment on whether he's up for that task right now or not, but it'll be interesting to see. Also, we had Bill Barr announce he's resigning yesterday. He'll be out by Christmas. I don't know what to make of that. I had some hopes for Bill Barr, but he's another one that's tied to the Bushes. He was Bush Sr.'s Attorney General back in the 80s, and there's also some information out there that he took some money from some of the attorneys that were involved in the Rosemont Seneca thing, the Hunter Biden Rosemont Seneca Corporation. I've seen some interesting stories that tie Bill Barr and Chris Wray to that Rosemont Seneca. So there's certainly a rabbit hole to go down there if you want to do some research on it. So he'll be out, and I'm not sure if Trump's going to go outside of the chain of command and name a semi-permanent attorney general, since unless Trump's very confident he's going to be there for another term. But he needs to get somebody in there with some steel, like a Rudy Giuliani or a Sidney Powell or somebody like that, to get in there and start some prosecutions on these people, before the inauguration. If they can name a special counsel to investigate some of this Biden stuff, which they definitely need to do. If they name a special counsel now, the next administration won't have anything to do with that. That special counsel will operate independently of the federal government. So they need to do that now. So that's basically what this alternate slate of electors is about. And if I missed something in that, put it in the comments below. We're all learning this together. As a lot of things that haven't happened in decades, if not centuries, are happening now. We're all trying to learn it on the fly. So there's definitely a learning curve. If I missed anything, put it in the comments below. So it's basically going to be up to Mike Pence, and it's what he really needs is he needs some of these state courts that we're in right now. We need to win some of these cases and get some of these fraudulent ballots thrown out. That way Mike Pence has got some footing to stand on if he's not going to certify the Democrats' electoral votes and go with these alternate electors. So it's interesting. It's an interesting study in civics. It's all in the Constitution, so if you have a copy, you can read it and see it. It's all there. All right, guys, we'll see what happens today. Have a good one.